12:05 on Monday, July 7th. Do you know where Connor McDavid is? I'm going to say that every day for the summer.
Oh, God.
That's what people want. They want the location of him right now. Nan, so you can throw Popeyes back on the screen in the middle here. Dude, do you know how to do that? He thinks he might know how to do it. We'll see. You select that, and then you go over, and you select that. Look at this guy. All right, it is the oil stream. We are presented to you by Boston Pizza, where the summer menu is out. It's not just real, it is also spectacular. And get your hands on it at all Boston Pizza locations. Probably going to be loading in a couple of patio shows over the summer as well. And, of course, portions and our spicy headlines are brought to you by Popeyes. I introduced my brother-in-law and my sister to Popeyes last night for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
They're in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nailed it. I see somebody over in the chat says Popeyes poutine, Bronco Neck Popeyes poutine is underrated. I 100% agree.
Ooh.
And then my wife last night had one of the mini chicken snack wraps.
Those are...
Which she absolutely loved as well.
They are... And Reed Wilkins, I think we have gotten Reed Wilkins.
Everything
heavily.
okay out there, boys? Okay. Nobody's hurt? Something fell there.
So Reed is enamored with Popeyes. We know this. And he loves like the little... And it's adorable. He's like a little chipmunk whenever he has it and brings it in and he eats it like that. So anyway, just to let anybody who's wondering what the hell is going on know, the moving process has begun.
Yeah.
As we prepare, and Awanik is trying to get everything set up for tomorrow's golf tournament. As, what else do we have go? Oh my God, it feels like a million things are happening right now.
You only said two, though.
I know, but like, and then everybody's here. Don Ellis was here. I saw Bruce Simpson and Lindy yesterday.
Yep.
From William Huff, and I showed them. I'm like, okay, because I took a video of new digs just to give them an idea of what they're getting into. It feels like everything is happening.
There's a lot going on.
It's great, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so large pieces of furniture, it seems like, have been moved.
Okay, so here, let me run this by everybody on the oil stream. We'll get to some Oilers stuff. We'll get to what Friedman had to say in 32 Thoughts. Yes. We're going to run the numbers game for Play Alberta on the amount of goals that they lost. Can they make those up? So there's lots to get to. But Ed, if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. It's the oil stream presented by Boston Pizza. Where was I going to? Oh, so we've had an offer of somebody to come in and move all of our bigger objects.
Yep.
And it would be great. They're just going to charge like an hourly rate and it won't take long. We don't have a ton of stuff to move. So here's the dilemma I face as a business owner. We have 10 dudes here, all very capable.
Yeah.
Is it lazy on our part as a company to have somebody else come in and move our stuff when 10 of us could do it in like 4 hours?
And we have access to a moving truck.
There we go.
We have a moving truck. Jay literally owns one.
Jay has a truck.
Yeah. I thought that's what we were doing.
No, that is the plan right now. But then Maddie just said, they offered to come in and move everything.
My instinct would be to have us all hands on deck.
There's not much here.
No.
Right? Like we've accumulated a few things, but there's like 1, 2, 3 desks, a smaller little desk where you have the Tecmo computer on. The Tecmo machine will have to move. A couple of TV stands, couch, couple of chairs,
it's a couple of
some
trips.
Boxes, the desk, few TVs.
And that moving truck's
like maybe 2 trips.
It's a day.
And there's like almost a dozen of us.
I think us doing it
I think we take some pride in doing it, right? We'll have that. We'll have to get the new fridge. We got to find a fridge. But we'll get some 6 o'clock loggers in there. And when we're done the move, we'll have a couple of bevies in the place.
Big Maple and others pointed out WCB, which I believe I heard Matthew Wanek mention.
So WCB was if somebody gets hurt moving,
right.
That's a WCB claim.
Yeah.
So I wonder if HR Daddy would say, just pay the movers. But there's just not that much stuff here. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, we have to come up with a decision here.
Yeah,
right away.
I guess it's not buddies moving you to a new home. It's official work duties moving to more official work duties. Like that does change it. The WCB thing makes sense. But
well, I mean, let's not be idiots and just be careful.
Yeah.
You know?
Snap your back when lifting heavy things. Snap your back. Don't use your legs or your knees. Snap the back.
Old Gil says, always move the fridge first. Plug it in. Cold beers when done. Yeah, we aren't moving a fridge from here. We'll just be getting a new fridge. Maybe not technically a new fridge, but a fridge that'll be new to us. And hopefully that'll just be delivered and we don't have to worry about it.
That would be lovely. I'm very excited. We have our own kitchen. We have our own bathrooms. There's nobody with an absolutely messed up diet going in and destroying what a nice cleaning lady had done minutes prior. It's very comforting in knowing we have our own stuff and we're not sharing with other businesses on the same floor anymore.
Castor 1990 says, if your 10 guys are getting paid regardless, and you have the equipment and a truck and a mover expertise of Jay, do it yourself. That's the thing. And we're going to do it on a work day. So,
yeah.
I mean, it'd probably be the only physical day we ever really have to have around here.
This is valid. Anyway, good problem. So which way are you leaning?
Safety Bob says, do a hazard assessment so you know what you're doing and how to do it.
There's a lot of stairs involved.
There's a lot of stairs. Because we're on a second floor at the new place, but we're on a second floor here, so it's. Yep. I'm leaning towards we just do it. It was always the plan.
Yeah.
But I'll have a discussion with HR Daddy who's in town and see what he thinks about these possible WCB claims. But I also don't think we should be sitting here expecting a WCB claim to come out of a move. We're moving 800 meters away. It's not like it's not a big move.
Valid.
Well, something to consider, I guess. Something to consider. All right, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hersey's in and says, get people to move your stuff. Your moving stuff days should be over. F that S. Save the back and enjoy beer in the new studio while you watch them move your stuff in. See, I couldn't do that. There's no way 10 of us could be sitting there, 11 of us could be sitting in the new place having a beer as these other guys are moving all of our stuff in. Like, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it.
Sorry, man. We're going to need that all the way in the
back. Put that over there, man.
Just walking around with a 6 o'clocker like this. That just doesn't look right to me. Can you guys come back here and just move it to the corner of that studio? Thank you. Please. You know what? Thank you.
If we do get the movers, I'll have a Wannick tell him where everything goes. I hate bossing people around, even if I'm
He's great at it.
Yeah. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there.
He thrives.
Maybe I am leaning towards paying these guys to move everything for us.
Dusty,
whatever. It wouldn't take them long. Like if we have all the computers and stuff all wrapped up and stuff, boom, 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 done.
I'm mentally preparing to help move.
Yeah.
That's what bros do.
Dusty, Jay says, Dusty, you can 100% do that. That's why you pay movers. No, yes, I know. We're paying them to move our stuff. They're getting paid. But we're sitting here just having some beers. Well, I couldn't, like, if I was a mover.
It's a dickish move.
I'd be like, screw these guys.
Yep. You guys want a water?
Yeah.
We're drinking nice cold beer.
If you finish all this before 5 o'clock, you can have a beer. If you're allowed.
If.
And there's any left. Timber Woodsman says, I see a WCB claim incoming. Someone's going to throw it their back. It only takes one wrong lift.
Everyone's like, you're paying for it. You're paying for it. Mike from Calgary, pivot.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are pros. They would know how to do things better around corners and stuff like that.
And we did have pro movers come in. Actually, when Jay brought in the couches from Avant.
Well, those are delivery guys.
Yeah. They had, it was good.
And all the desks were set up by Don Ellis's crew.
Yeah. What a dilemma.
Interesting dilemma. You know what? You know what I'm going to ask for? As a business owner, I'm going to say, what's the quote? And then we'll see. And if it's like insanely cheap, I'll be like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Peace of mind. Save our bodies.
I swear to God, guys who know what they're doing could have this whole office moved to the other office 4 hours.
I think so.
Easy.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of stuff.
Maddie, the cables and the studio and all the gear, the boards and stuff, that's where like actual organization would have to occur.
Yeah, and I think we just need to save everything and put in a box for like studio.
Labeled properly.
And then that's it.
Yeah. Studio 1, Studio 2.
Well,
anyway, that's a good problem to have. Cole in Ellerslie says, get 5 quotes from them and then stick the moving companies against each other. So get a.
No, we've got a pretty good deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been offered up at their lowest possible rate already.
That's awesome.
So. All right. Well, we'll see.
You do what you feel is right, and use. I don't like the HR daddy.
I don't like the idea of us all being viewed as, lazy for not wanting to move. Mind you,
but
when we moved from the apartment Tammy and I lived in when we first got married to our first house, and myself and the Godfather and Phrase moved the entire. It was just the 3 of us. We moved the entire place.
Wow!
And I told the boys it was the classic guy who's moving. I'm like, 1 truckload. We don't have a ton of stuff. Easy peasy. 3 truckloads.
Yeah.
The entire day. Thought Godfather was going to kill me. Yeah. We found somebody's dentures outside, and he used my autographed Koivu stick to shoot the dentures.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't get mad at him because he helped me move for 12 straight hours.
But you had to get Windex and
So moves always end up being a little bit more difficult than you think.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some pros move that arcade machine. Now, the problem is my record for Frogger's on there. And they have to keep it plugged in the entire time.
Where have I heard this before? You got a car battery?
That was a great bit. God, Seinfeld just never missed.
Yeah.
Never missed. All right. So anyway, share us your thoughts on this. Should we pay for movers or should we move it ourselves? Lots of people are saying you just
hire them.
You pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, this
one says, Dirty Don says, just think, you'd be helping out another business.
That's
right. Giving another local company some work. Nate the Builder says, hey, boys, get Benny to work. He needs it. That's his dad. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what we do. Benny works with the moving crew.
That's all Benny does.
Part of his practicum. And the rest of us just sit there and watch. Doing a good job, Benny.
Great work, Benny.
Nate would be proud of you.
Put that on your final report.
Help the guys move. We've nominated you to help the movers move, Benny. Yeah, he's in. He's good. He's good to go.
Yes to everything.
I'll clean toilets. I don't care.
Oh, gross.
Perfect, because we're probably gonna have to hire somebody to clean the new office because it's much bigger than this one.
Oh boy.
Anyway, hey, if you have a cleaning company, hit me up on Twitter or email me Dustin@EdmontonSportsTalk.com because we're probably gonna have to hire I was trying to get my mom to move up here and just look after the office, but I don't think she's gonna.
I'll say this. I know we're going to move on here to oil stuff, but
it's the summer.
It is the summer. I will give our crew credit. We do have guys who are pretty neat and tidy.
Yeah, not a bunch of slobs.
No, and there are those that if it does get a little messy, there are some younger guys, rhymes with Mac to come, who are sometimes forgetful, but generally clean up after themselves. I give our guys a lot of credit, because even Joaquin will get pissed off and just go on a cleaning rampage.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT what we should do. Should
Great
we
idea.
move a small business on our own in Edmonton, or should we pay a moving company? See what it says. Several key factors and stuff. I don't want to read all this stuff.
Nah,
it's too much. I just wanted an answer, yes or no. Probably would have gone with it, but now they've lost me. All right, we're gonna get into. A good place to start would be with the headlines. So let's dive into these. Brought to you by Popeyes, where they've got those chicken wraps, a perfect summer snack, available now at all Popeyes locations, and it really fills you up. It's not like they're just these tiny little things. It's actually a pretty good size little wrap. So you're going to try those over the weekend. You can get them in all. You can get the regular, the spicy, or the blackened. And that blackened is very underrated as well. It's solid. So Elliot Friedman, and we got some people texting. You can text us 780-218-9999. No shortage of Oilers discussion. Oil Stream, 2 guys. All summer long, we'll be talking Oilers. Library Pat texted in this morning. It says, or not this morning, right now. It says, hey guys, I'm curious whether TG has any insight into 2 things dropped by Friedman on 32 Thoughts. Threat of an offer sheet for Bouchard on Carolina, hastening his contract conversations, and Dustin Schwartz on the way out, and any news for a replacement. So any thoughts on that or any insight on that?
All right. Full disclosure, like I haven't like asked around Oilers people in like days since just like the fallout of free agency. I did ask about like what was going on with the coaches. The response I got in regard to Dustin Schwartz was like unclear. Like it was a bunch of emojis. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Okay.
When I asked about Schwartzy, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Interpret that how I will. It feels like there might be an appetite to look at a new option at goalie coach, considering now with Glenn Gulletson moving on, I don't know where they are at with Mark Stewart. I don't know what Paul Coffey wants to do. But if you're going to start to allow Chris Knobloch to build his staff, because that's the other thing I was told, was that Knobloch was now focused on getting his staff put together.
Yeah.
The knobbers all over it was what I was told. So I'm assuming that it's not just replacing Glenn Gulletson, that there might be a couple of other things. So
which is how it should be.
Right. Like, and I'm inclined to believe we're probably going to see a couple of coaching changes. One obviously is
Gully
Glenn's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it might be time for a new voice, because it's pretty clear.
Is Paul Coffey going to be on the bench?
See, that's what I don't know, because he didn't want to do it. He didn't even hide that when he was hired, but things were good. I think he enjoyed his time being on the ice every day. I know he wasn't thrilled about having to travel and the day-to-day. And listen, Paul Coffey can basically do whatever he wants, right? Yeah. It's totally up to him. I'm guessing he might want to stick around again next year, but you're going to need an X's and O's guy. I don't know if that will continue to be Mark Stewart. That was Mark Stewart for the last couple of years. And I know Paul Coffey got a lot of the praise for helping defensemen find their game and this and that. And I think a lot of times Mark Stewart was being neglected. So I made a point of saying, and Mark Stewart, because he's the guy that was doing the video. He's the guy that was doing the X's
kind
and
of doing the legwork for Coffey.
And Coffey was the hype up man, you know, your corner man.
The D-man whisperer.
Yeah, the whisperer. So I think that tandem, one guy kind of focused on one thing and the other guy excelled at another thing, and they kind of worked hand in hand. But I don't know where that's going to go. There's been like rumors or discussion about Dave Hackstall, because he's the guy that gave Chris Knobloch a chance as an assistant in Philly. That kind of thing makes sense. Like when that discussion comes up, I'm like, yeah, because these guys, the coaching fraternity, they're friends, or they played with one another, and they always take care of each other. I remember, here's an example, like Kelly Buchberger got JF Houle on the Oilers farm team staff. Then Bucky gets hired by JF Houle to be a coach in Laval with him.
What goes around comes around.
You take care of each other. So when people are like, Hackstall might be coming as an assistant. Okay, great. And that does make sense. Now, when it comes to actual results, I would say Hackstall didn't really have a ton of results as a head coach with Philly, and certainly not with Seattle. So I'd be like, okay, I mean, if he's better as an assistant than he is a head coach, and Chris Knobloch trusts him, sure. Okay, fine. But if you think he's going to make it a superstar coaching lineup, I think that might be not misguided, but expecting too much.
You know what's kind of weird is that Hackstall is kind of clean cut, just like Knobloch.
Yeah. Hackstall was
dial Hackstall. I'm looking at a picture of Hackstall in 2015, like 10 years ago, but look at him. He looks like Knobloch.
Yeah, I know.
That would be a real mind F. You're looking on the bench, there's a bunch of dudes who look the same.
And then you get the lookalike behind them.
It's a bunch of TV dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hackstall was around Edmonton late in the season. I think he was doing some scouting work. And you saw him around on game nights. And it was interesting. I'm like, yeah, what's Dave Hackstall doing here? And of course, Jim Matheson knew. And I'm like, what's he doing? He's like, oh, he's scouting. Okay. And Matty would be in his ear like every second intermission. So that one, if it happens or comes to fruition, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I haven't been like, who's on the radar? What's going on? I'll be perfectly honest with you. it's kind of nice not worrying about them every day.
Somebody asked us this morning, they're like, do you think the Oilers make any moves this week? I was like,
no,
I don't think they do.
Nope.
This is the off season now.
Yes.
They spent most of the money they're going to spend. Bouchard's taken care of. McDavid will sign in September sometime. They're just living their lives right now.
They do that.
As much as everybody wants to, like, well, what's the latest now? What's Knobloch thinking about lines? Blah, 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 blah.
Nope.
A lot of that's just going to fly under the radar for a little while.
Yep.
That being said, we will put together a ton of line combinations.
Well, that's what we do best. Now, here, this is a funny thing Pagnotta said to me going into free agency, because he was at the draft and then subsequently that night flew to Vegas and had the time of his life. I know. With one of the owners of a team.
Not married, right?
Not married. Not married. Anyway, we were kind of like just talking to him. It's like, hey, keep a lookout for this. Hey, going into free agency and the draft and stuff. And he goes, boys, it's going to be a short and quick free agent frenzy on Canada Day. Everybody wants to get the expletive out of here.
Yeah.
And that was league wide. Like everyone's just like, okay, let's shut it down. Let's go quiet, please. There's going to be little things that pop up here and there, but everybody's in summer mode. It's summer mode engaged right now. That's what I would describe to you guys.
We're going to get to Darnell Nurse here in a second as well, but I want to come back around to the inbox, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Martin says, this is about the move again. Have all of the ladies vying for Tommy's attention come in and move everything in an attempt to bid for his love.
Oh, that's hilarious, but just awful. I don't have the heart. I couldn't do that. I feel so
But you
bad.
might find the one.
Strong like ox, good for plow.
That's not a bad idea.
I believe Borat said that famously back in 2007.
Oh, that was still funny though, Martin. Thank you very much for sending that.
I like being the handyman. Believe it or not, these uncalloused hands are actually quite handy.
I'm going to say not. I would say I don't believe that.
I don't blame you.
All right. And Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, so basically they're saying they kind of asked everybody in the organization would be willing to move, which I think you should probably do that every offseason. Like people's situations change. They might be in a little bit different spot than they were before. So I don't think it's too big of a story, but your thoughts on that?
I wasn't even surprised. Like Hernan and I were talking about it on the way here this morning. And I know.
Did you guys ride in together?
I give him a ride. Yeah. Because Angelica had to take his car.
Oh, okay.
I'm like that to me is kind of like general housekeeping, because really Stan Bowman came in as GM after the dust had settled free agency wise last year. He's had a year to work with these guys hand in hand with Jeff Jackson and gauge where everybody's at. I think it's just, doing your due diligence and part of the process. Like asking Darnell Nurse if he would be willing to move on or waive his no trade clause, kind of like, hey, where are you at? Like, do you want to, if there was a trade that came up, would you waive it? No. Okay, good. Now I know. I don't take that as the Oilers actively trying to get rid of Darnell Nurse. I interpret it as if he's asking everybody, it's just like, okay, where's everybody at? So that I know how I can go about attacking building this lineup next year.
I know people don't like hearing Darnell Nurse saying no, he's happy, he wants to stay here.
What do you think he's going to say?
I know, but it's also like, this guy loves being in Edmonton. For so many years, it was like, this guy doesn't want to be here. This guy doesn't want to come here.
You're right. Good point.
Nurse is like, I'm not going anywhere. This is my home.
Yeah. He's playing hockey with his best friends. They're very successful. They haven't reached the ultimate goal, obviously. But if you were to say, these guys aren't successful, you're an idiot. Like, they have had 5 full calendar years of successful hockey. They're a good team. They're in the mix. They go and they pick up impact players at deadline. This is a team in the window, as we like to say. So if Darnell Nurse, when he's casually asked by the GM, hey, where are you at with your no movement clause? If there's something that comes up, would you want to waive? No? Oh, okay, fine. Like, don't be shopping Darnell because he's just going to say no. Like, to me, that's how I interpret the news that Elliott provided. And especially if Bowman and Jackson are canvassing the team and the guys, there's lots of them with no moves and everybody's giving their feedback, then okay. Because again, you had guys that they signed in the offseason, or a guy that they signed in the offseason that they gave a no move to, that was like halfway through the year goes, I'm happy to move on. This isn't working. And that was Arvidsson. So I think, just to me, it sounds like due diligence. It's noteworthy because it's Darnell. It's noteworthy because it's that contract. It's noteworthy because the fans, I think a lot of them would be happy to move on from it. The guy's happy being an Oiler.
RCN says Nurse will be gone by next summer.
Doubt it.
There are teams who would take it. Tommy with a quick doubt it. You don't think so?
Sorry, RCN. I don't think so. I think he wants to be here.
Those are your headlines for Popeyes. New summer snack. Beautiful chicken wrap. Classic, spicy, or blackened, or all three. If you know, you know. Does that mean you could put all three of them together? Is that what the if you know means? I'm looking at their website right now. It says enjoy classic, spicy, or blackened, or all three. And then in brackets it says IYKYK, which would mean if you know, you know. But I'm acting like I know, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it just mean you like all three are good? Because they are, so I would know that. But is there some sort of special thing you can say and get all three types of chicken into one chicken wrap? And that's what we should know?
Whoa. Is that like a turducken in
I don't
wrap
know.
form?
I don't know. It's pretty incredible, though.
Okay. Mark texting in via the inbox, 780.
Is that the guy who just texted in his own name at one point?
Yeah, that's the one.
Some guy, see, Mark texted in and the text just said, Mark.
At 12:25. And then a minute later, he subsequently
RCN's going to bet you $10.
Sure.
Here's the thing. No, I want to get a piece of this. I'll be the money guy.
Okay.
You're the guy who's saying he'll be there. We'll mark it down July 7th.
Yep.
2026. If he has been traded or he's not here anymore, I will pay RCN $10 on your behalf.
Oh, thank you.
So we're both in this.
All right.
You from a reputation standpoint.
Please.
And me with the $10.
You've got
but RCN, I'll tell you right now, if he's still here, I want you walking into the new office. It won't technically be a new office by then. It'll be a regular office. Mm-hmm. And I want that $10. We're not talking e-transfer. I want a $10 bill. Who's on the $10 bill?
I can't remember.
I haven't seen a $10 bill in years.
The new $10 bill doesn't go like left to right. It goes north-south.
What?
It goes up to down. Like the way they...
So we have to hold our money like
images.
this now. Up and down.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Anyway, I want one of those.
A crisp one, too.
Yeah, a crisp one.
Yeah, not one that's been beaten up and corners are cut off.
All right, so a bet has been placed.
I love it. Mark it July 7th on the Oil Stream. Me and RCN and Dusty's involved. Mark, who just texted in his name at one point, says, how about two names I've thought might be a fit? Derek Lalonde and Jay McKee. I like Lalonde's breakdown on Hockey Night Canada. Jay McKee is a player's coach who I believe coached McDavid with Knobloch before and coaching Hyman's junior team. Also on a podcast with Jordan Schmaltz, Stetcher told a hilarious story about Hackstall as their coach. They were scared poopless about him catching them skipping classes, which they did quite regularly at North Dakota. Well, in North Dakota, those guys, they're hockey gods there. Do you want to break the news about Derek Lalonde, which is not really news? He works for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was hired as an assistant a while ago. Yeah.
Oh.
So that can happen.
He was when I first saw him on Sportsnet in the playoffs, I said, "What's this Gru-looking dude sitting on this panel for?"
I thought he was Dr. Evil.
And then, a month in, I was like, "Actually, he's pretty good."
He's very good.
Yeah,
yeah. I liked him. I thought he was.
He won me over.
Yeah, very articulate, and he made you understand. Like he would take the X's and O's and the hockey talk, and he could translate.
He was a good addition to the panel.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent.
All right, so he's out.
Well, no, exactly, because he's working for the Leafs. So that one he can't do. I don't know about Jay McKee. Jay McKee's been around for a while as a coach now after his playing days ended. And Mark, that one might have legs if Knobloch really liked him. Then maybe, but it just depends on which coaching positions are available. And I don't think that has been made abundantly clear. I think it's still a bit murky outside of Glenn Gullickson's role being empty right now.
All right, those are your headlines for Popeyes. Let's dive into the numbers game for Play Alberta. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com today, you can text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us as well.
I have one more. Can I just quickly
go ahead, buddy.
You're getting something set up there.
Yeah, no. Just text him.
Hampton Steve says, is Sean Burke a legit option for goalie coach? He fixed Dubnyk and countless other goalies in the past. If anyone could get the inconsistency out of Stu's game, I think Burke is the guy. And Burke did a well-publicized, tremendous job with Devin Dubnyk, helped get him to become an all-star with the Minnesota Wild. But I believe that Sean Burke is now in management and not a goalie coach. I think with the Golden Knights, if I'm not mistaken. He's been elevated to management. Yeah.
So, no.
So I don't think he wants to take a step back to goalie coach. I had it right here. Director of goaltending for the Golden Knights. What else? Yeah, because he used to always be on the ice. Now, when the Golden Knights are here, he's not on the ice. He's just kind of traveling around with them, kind of like a Luongo.
Yeah, same type of thing.
Yeah, so
he was at Spangler one year when I was there. Got to chat with him a little bit.
Really nice guy. So unless the orders are correct, remember we're talking about creating the department?
Yeah.
And they say,
but even that I think is just a sideways step for Burke, right? Like Burke wants to run an organization.
And he's been a GM of, like you said, national teams and tournament teams and stuff like that. So unless they threw like a obnoxious, obscene amount of money at him to
take a step back.
Yeah. Or
head up, like become Schwartz's boss.
Yeah. Then probably not. And I think he's pretty happy in Vegas. So good name though. I don't mind that idea at all, but I don't know if it's possible.
All right, let's get into your numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta. The early bird bet of the day sitting up there waiting. I think the DJ and Den is working on the grandest right now. Jay will have a play of the day coming up a little bit earlier on. Early bird bet, got to ride with these red hot Blue Jays right now. Jays to win by 2 runs or more and a Barger hit plus 173. Bet that myself today. Also going to be riding with this one. Blue Jays team total 5+ runs. So over 4.5 runs. That's at minus 127. I mean, their offense has been outstanding as of late. So I love that one.
Great games over the weekend.
Yeah.
Lots of dingers.
Getting sucked back into the Jays.
Well,
eh?
I'm not like invested in them, but I was like, George Springer just went off and I was like,
he's been on fire.
Like, these guys are just playing some ball. And it's good. It's good to see. I like when people are happy about a team like that. Like to me, it doesn't affect my mood, but it's good to see. And the ballpark was packed and they get that sweep against the Yankees. That's good. I think that's great. Yeah.
So ride with us on both of those. They're already up over at Play Alberta. If you've not yet downloaded the Play Alberta app, please do. We're going to be partners with them for a long, long time. So you might as well get used to that app right now because we're going to have some good things popping up over there every single day for the rest of our lives. All right, so here's the numbers game today. Perry, gone.
Yeah.
Brown, gone.
Yes.
Skinner, gone. Arvidsson, gone.
Yeah.
Am I missing anybody else?
Well, Derek Ryan, but that
doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
So between those 4 guys, 63 goals gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now they also lost Kane, but he didn't even play in the regular season last year, so those goals don't even exist.
Right.
And they've got Frederick now, who didn't play last year in the regular 1 game, whatever.
Yes.
So that's a bonus. So Perry, Brown, Skinner, Arvidsson, minus 63 goals.
Yes.
Mangiapane, Frederick full-time, Matt Savoy.
Mm-hmm.
How many goals there?
Oh, don't forget David Tomasek.
Oh, and Tomasek. I did forget Tomasek.
Apparently, I hate him. I don't. It's the principle of bringing European guys over, just to clarify.
Weird, because you love Janmark.
Yeah, but he was drafted and developed here. Tomasek's a different
I just
story.
try to mess with you.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we're going Savoy, Tomasek, obviously.
Okay, so let's use those 4.
Frederick.
4 out, 4 in.
And Mangiapane. I'll be optimistic, and I think this is real and realistic, too. Like, I think you could get 15 from Frederick.
Okay.
All right? I think you can get 20 from Mangiapane.
Okay.
I think you could get 12 from Savoy.
I put 15 for Savoy.
Okay,
but I was correct on the other numbers. If he's going to play with Draisaitl, 15, I think it's maybe we're aiming a little high. But let's just do the math.
And I'll go, if Tomasek can fit in, I'll give him 15 because he's an offensive.
You're going to go 15 for him too. I
said,
had 10 for him.
I said realistic and optimistic. Now, like whether or not he could play the system that Chris Knobloch incorporates or not, if he could keep up. I know you're saying his boots maybe aren't as quick as you would need, but I think you could, with a veteran guy, 28, 29 years old, who knows how to play pro hockey, I think there is legitimacy there. And if you put him in the right spot, he can get you.
Can I say a quick thing about Tomasek?
Please do.
I tweeted out last week all of his goals.
Yeah.
And even when, so I found it, I tweeted it out, and then I was like, I should watch this. So I watched a chunk of it, and I'm a bit worried that he doesn't have the boots.
Yeah.
To like when you watch it, the European game is slow, and you can pick your way through things, and so I think that would be my hesitation on Tomasek having an impact is can he keep up with what hopefully is described again as a pretty quick hockey team.
You know who couldn't? Bertistov or whatever his name is.
Bertistov. Anton Bertistov.
Yeah. He was slow as you know what.
So I had Tomasek at 10. So let's meet in the middle and put Tomasek at 12. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So interesting discussion here because I've been trying to find ways to talk Trev off the ledge. Trev's full blown on like they're awful. They're not going to go anywhere.
He's our Oilers litmus test.
Well, you know what though? He's the most hardcore Oilers fan in this.
100%.
So I like him as our litmus test because
it works.
He's like many of you who are listening to this in the summer or watching right now.
Yeah. He shares a lot of your sentiments.
Mangiapane, 20. Frederick and Savoy, 30 combined. That's 50. Tomasek gets 12. That's 62.
Yep.
We said 63 goals out. We've just counted 62 coming back in.
I also think Connor McDavid is capable of like a 40-goal season.
Well, he should be. He's Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I think offensively, compared to last year's regular season, because you didn't have a Vander Kane for the regular season. If they would have kept Kane, it'd be different numbers. But
I think Kane would have been
if they kept Kane, Mangiapane wouldn't be in here anyway.
Right.
So he would have been 20 as well. So
yeah.
So I think it's close. I'm going to say that Savoy, Mangiapane, Frederick, and Tomasek fall short of the 63 goals that are out.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be closer than what everybody else is expecting. Like we just did the math on it quickly. We got to 62.
Yeah.
You would have been at 65. You would have actually had more goals if we went Tomasek 15.
And I was being optimistic and, in my opinion, realistic because I think Mangiapane in the right position could have success. And I think 20 is realistic for him. I almost wanted to go 20 for Frederick, depending on how much playing time he gets and what scenarios he's put into. But I said, no, I do feel like if he's good to go, he's healthy, he could be more like the Frederick that got 17 and 18 3 and 4 years ago, or 2 and 3 years ago. So I don't look at that 63 goal loss as something that can't be is insurmountable. I think they're going to generally be okay. And I really do think McDavid is capable of putting up like 35 to 40 easy.
Well, that's the other thing you have to look at from this year's team. Yes, they lost goals, but Nuge had 20. He could be a bit better than that.
Yep.
But 20 is probably fair. Hyman only had 27.
We need to talk about him
50
too, by the way.
the year before.
Yep.
And McDavid finished with 26. He should be walking 35 in his sleep.
Yes. Thank you.
So there's 11. There's 10 to 15 more goals in Connor McDavid. There should be
5.
I mean, for Hyman, I'm thinking there's 35 minimum, if not more.
With Hyman,
okay. So
I'm glad we're talking.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about him. So he did a little thing at his golf tournament. He couldn't play his wrist. The dislocated wrist is still an issue. He's still got like a cast or a splint on it. He might not be ready for the start of the year. By all accounts, like the wrist injury he suffered, it was like really complicated and like it's more severe.
Man, on such a weird little small play too.
It it might take a while for him to get back. So that's where I'm a little worried on his goal totals. It might be when he gets back, how good that wrist is. He might be closer to like a 20 to 25. But you're right.
He only had 27 last year.
If he was healthy, Dusty,
no,
then I would think, he can go back to 30 plus. But this is an issue.
T-Mac says, how dare you forget Lazar's 2 goals?
Thank you, T-Mac.
Which would then bump them up and over the number. I guess.
Thank you, T-Mac.
All right, there you go. That's your numbers game for Play Alberta. It is the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. Cade Riley says, I'm hoping that Mangiapane ends in the 40-point range. I'll be so happy if that happens.
Yeah.
That's a good, reasonable expectation.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. He's still a serviceable, good player in the NHL, and I think it's interesting that his numbers weren't great with Washington. It just might not have been a perfect fit, especially after the year he had in Calgary. But
but he only played 13 minutes a night in Washington.
Yeah,
his ice time was 3-4 minutes left, less than he was in Calgary.
Yeah, and I think they'll easily give him those 3 or 4 minutes here.
Let me throw this one at you. If you had to set a percentage chance, like 50-50, 60-40 or whatever, Matt Savoy ends his rookie season with more points than Mangiapane.
20%.
20. I thought,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun question, though. That's a guy. July 7th.
Here, I like that you brought those two up in a comparison, because, if you're Matt Savoy, wouldn't you kind of you're a sponge. You're absorbing. You're good. He's a high-end prospect. He had a very strong year down in Bakersfield, all-star, and had a good cup of coffee up here, showed some, good things. Would you not watch Mangiapane a little bit? You don't have to be a little rat out there. But Mangiapane isn't much bigger than him, and you could kind of learn some tricks of the trade from a veteran guy like Mangiapane, who kind of has the same features that Savoy does. Maybe Savoy is smaller guy, but still has skill. What stands out to me about Mangiapane is straightaway speed and a little bit of reckless abandon and going hard to the net. But with Savoy, I think of a playmaker, maybe slows the game down a little bit. But it seems and Ryan Holt, who's the Bakersfield Condors play-by-play guy, mentioned that Savoy added defense into his game and made a point of being more responsible. So if you're a sponge and you're adapting to make sure you become an everyday NHLer with consistency, which is something that all managers and head coaches around the NHL talk about, I think you could pick up a trait or two, try to emulate a guy like Mangiapane and find some success. So I'm glad you kind of made that comparison, because I'd be like, I kind of have the same tools as this guy. He's been in the league for a 10-year stretch. He's had success. What does he do? And how can I bring that into my game? I think that's a good comparison, to me at least.
If Mangiapane can get 20 goals and 20 assists and kill penalties on a penalty kill that doesn't suck, that is worth every penny. That would be worth every penny.
I didn't mind that
to get those numbers, right? So I think it's somewhat reasonable. This is a very July 7th type of question, but I had it in here anyway because I know many of you listening or watching would probably have an answer. Tommy, what do you think is the best third line for the Oilers? With this roster sort of set right now, are you a Frederick at center guy, or are you Henrique at center guy?
I'm open to, and I like the idea of Frederick at center. And if you want to resuscitate or jumpstart Adam Henrique offensively, I feel like probably the best way to do that is on the wing. So I would look at Frederick down the middle, and then I don't love it, but leave Podkolzin with Draisaitl.
You love Podkolzin.
Nope.
You do.
I respect Podkolzin.
I'm not sure you do yet.
I do. He's effective in what he does. So I would go this is just obviously just winging it, but Frederick down the middle, and I like Henrique on left wing, and then I wouldn't mind Savoy just comfortably on the third line
with a couple of veteran guys.
Yeah. So
And then you leave Podkolzin up with Mangiapane and Draisaitl.
Sure. And then hopefully Hyman's good to go by the start of the year with McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins.
I think I'm more intrigued to see a healthy Frederick on the wing in the top 6.
And just go.
I think I am. So, like, let's say my top 6 and Hyman. Let's say Hyman whenever Hyman's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
McDavid with Hyman and Nuge. Draisaitl with Frederick on the left side, Mangiapane on the right side.
That's a pretty good line,
right? That's so much better than Podkolzin and Kapanen.
I agree.
For most of this last year.
I agree.
And then your third line can be Henrique with Savoy and Podkolzin.
Yep.
And then your fourth line's Lazar, Kapanen, Matthias Janmark, or Philp.
Yeah, some combination.
See, so I guess my third line there would be Henrique, Podkolzin, and Savoy. Which I don't know if that's the best third line. But I think that's the third line I'd like to see.
Yeah, and then you'd have two guys who can make the plays in Henrique and Savoy. You got a guy that crashes and bangs and immediately defers to the other two when he gets the puck. So I understand the route to how
I like the idea of Savoy with the veteran center in Henrique.
The veteran thing is important.
And not as much offensive pressure early in the year.
Yep. Yeah, I like the idea of keeping him in the top 9, not necessarily top 6. Let him find a groove. Unless he just comes in with total swag and is like, put me in the top 6, please. And he plays well enough to command that. But
I didn't even have Tomasek in there.
Whoops.
I totally glossed over Tomasek.
I don't think... maybe Tomasek's like... second line.
No. Okay, so you know what? Let's just play this game where... I mean, I guess you could go Henrique... I'm just trying to think if Tomasek is in, then Podkolzin's down to the fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go Podkolzin with probably Matthias Janmark in the middle and Kapanen, and then Lazar and Philp. Yeah, unless they really want that right shot center, then maybe Kapanen comes out or Janmark, whatever. Tomasek with Henrique. I don't know, does Nuge end up factoring in there somewhere in the third line, or does he just ride shotgun with McDavid all year?
I think we could see him down there.
I don't know where Tomasek fits in, to be honest with you. I guess we'll have to find out once we get to see him here in North America. He's probably, I know this sounds so lame, but he's the guy I'm most intrigued to get a look at.
I understand. He's kind of a mystery.
Why wasn't he in the NHL for the last 9 years?
Why was he asking teams for $2 million a year? That part. When I was told that, I'm like, oh, of course.
Well, obviously, him and his agent think highly of him. He probably loves living overseas, but decided to get a crack at the NHL now with a team that's been to back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Well said.
All right, what's coming up here, Coob, on EST Afternoons?
Oilers, Elks, F1 discussion. Jays are hot.
Yes, they are. That's right.
Yeah, we're going to have Shalene Garnes, Edmonton Elks linebacker. Shaylin
Garnes. I had to ask about that myself, so don't be. Yeah, Shaylin.
I'm not too down about it.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Shaylin Garnes.
Use ChatGPT for that one.
Yeah.
Lots of Tomasek discussion. No, I'm kidding. But lots of Elks recap, F1 talk. Hulkenberg made a podium finish for the first time in his career. So
very happy.
Yeah.
Hernan have a lot to say about that.
And I heard that F1 movie is incredible.
I want to go. I still haven't seen it.
I've listened to Mark Majot and Corey Grant's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Majot said it was one of the best movies. One of the best sports movies he's seen in years. So I'm kind of intrigued. So we had Cordell Jackson on our show this morning. These guys are going to have Shaylin Garnes on, and then Rankin's going to be on the Reed Wilkins show this afternoon.
I'm on the Reed Wilkins show.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're on the Reed Wilkins show this afternoon.
Yeah.
So 3 Edmonton Elks on the station today.
Hey. I'll tell you what, the vibes yesterday in and around the room after that win were high. I think the crowd was good. Dusty, you and Suits, that was fun. That was a good one last night.
Good vibes there.
Yeah.
Like my kids go down to the field after every game, no matter what.
Tam and the kids waved at me.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That was really nice.
But like yesterday, they were down on the field after a victory.
Yep.
And everybody was just happy.
First win in July since 2022.
2022.
Yeah, you and Suits were talking about that. Their
first win in June or July.
Yeah.
Since 2022. A lot of people blame that stretch on Hernan, and he just couldn't get them fired up enough to win any football games.
His fault, and 100% his fault.
I wouldn't put it on one of our guys.
I'll tell you what, winning, what a difference it makes around there. And I saw like somebody got at you a little bit there on Twitter. Try to be like, oh no, but they try to give away tickets at work and they include a $25 GC to BP.
Because the team sucked forever.
Like, use logic. And when Awanek paints the full picture and reminds folks that they've only hosted 4 playoff games in 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah. And what was their home record going into yesterday in like the last 5 years? Like 5-38.
Yeah, they've sucked for a long time.
Like, but I'll tell you what, yesterday, the vibe after, it was a fun game.
I like Mark Killam.
He was good.
Hey?
I had orange Gatorade on my hands after.
Are you working the game on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not. So me and the kids and Tam will be in the crowd, and I'm going to wave to you.
Please do.
I was like, Tommy, I love your ass.
I'll wear even tighter pants tomorrow, or on Sunday.
Good. You better.
For you, buddy.
Thanks, man. All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream today, brought to you by Boston Pizza. EST Afternoons is on the way next. Tomorrow, once again, a reminder, 2-hour golf tournament preview, essentially, from 6 to 8 tomorrow morning, live from the ranch. And then we will have probably just the Nielson Show replayed throughout the day.
Nice. And
then full programming returns on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and for the rest of our lives. Right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. For Tommy Gazzola, I'm Dustin Nielson. We'll talk to you from the patio at the ranch tomorrow morning. Tommy will be back 3 o'clock with Glue Guy on the Reed Wilkins Show. Should be a fun one. Take it easy.